Happy Taco Tuesday, America. I'm Johnny Dim.
I'm Edge of Blade.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a proper intro because Zach is usually our master of ceremonies. But here we are. It's just me and Edge of Blade. And we are going to be talking about Twilight Imperium today. Now, here's the thing. Part of the reason we're doing this video, the biggest reason we're doing this video, is that we have an actual pop culture reference in a TV show to Twilight Imperium, a game we have been falling in love with for years. Some of us more recent than
You for
that.
years, me
Yeah.
over this half of this year
Yeah.
so
So
far.
so what you don't know if you're watching this when we're releasing it is that we are actually going to be doing this big video project, a huge project for Twilight Imperium. A lot of videos coming out relatively soon, but this is happening now, so we're going to talk about it now. There is a show called AP Bio. It took me a minute to get when Jason told me about this earlier. I was like, AP Bio, what is AP? Are you just abbreviating something?
It
Of
says
not
I wrote like AP Bio and then
episode,
season
yeah.
4,
Yeah.
episode 3, and he thought I was giving him some sort of weird code.
Yeah. I was like, what is this? Okay.
Did you have a stroke, Jason?
Right. Turns out I'm just an idiot. But okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about mostly. We'll deep dive into the episode and all the references and see how accurate they portrayed Twilight Imperium on screen, and then we're going to talk about more about our project coming up. We will give you some details about that and where we're at with that. Bunch of fun if you like long, complicated games that really challenge you. All right, so let's get into the episode. This is, like you said, season 4, episode 3 of AP Bio, a show I have not watched at all
Mm-hmm.
until today.
Yeah, and this is all I've seen of it too. Honestly, I only know about this because Twilight Imperium showed up in it,
Yeah,
and I had to do a double take whenever I saw that show up on the Twilight Imperium subreddit
yeah.
to say this weird overwrought game has broken through to the public consciousness.
Will it be?
It's almost like this corner kink
Yeah.
that you would rather the public not know about.
Board games in general are having a moment. There's now an anime about board gaming.
There is.
Yes. I'm not making this up. It's just like
What is it?
they've covered all the sports in anime.
I mean, there was an anime about like playing Go,
Yeah. No, now there
but
is
you're
a
talking about
board.
something
Yeah,
else.
and you can actually see real board
Is
games
there
on.
an anime for the Inspector Gadget, uh, by Milton Bradley?
Oh, maybe. I'm gonna tell you here. I'm just gonna Google this. Use the Google machine and tell you what the name of it is. It is 10 best anime about tabletop games. Apparently, there's more than one. Oh, they're
Well,
counting Yu-Gi-Oh as one.
no,
That doesn't count.
no,
That's like saying Pokemon is one.
yeah, no.
Um, because it inspired the game, another game.
They get hit like by an energy bolt, and all the Pokemon turn into cards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, oh, here it is. After School Dice Club. Yeah, that's what it's called. After School Dice Club.
All right.
So
Well,
anyway,
that's a
check
thing.
that out. I'm not endorsing it, but hey, check it out. Um, okay, so like I said, board games are having a moment. So are we going to? Is the popularity of Dungeons and Dragons now? Is that gonna let Twilight Imperium also have some sunshine, some spotlight?
I don't know because Dungeons and Dragons ha- are usually the butt of a joke in pop culture.
Up until a few years ago,
Up until a few years ago, it still happens.
it
The
happens,
the,
but
the
less.
ratio is
It's
a little
less
different,
rare.
but yeah, more people are taking it more seriously.
I think that happens just as often in pop culture, like in TV and stuff like that, as you get the opposite, where the nerds make fun of people for not playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I think that happens just as often now.
I
It's
can see that.
weird. I've been thinking about this a lot because I played a lot of D&D in the early aughts, um, and for quite a few years, and I've slowly stopped playing as much. But now all the cool kids are playing it, so it's like I'm just destined to just never be cool. Um, but I don't know. I have a D&D tattoo. It's embarrassing. Um,
No, I mean, come on, a D20 tattoo is a standard geek
Yeah,
symbol now.
absolutely. Okay, so overall, what do we think about Twilight Imperium getting this shot? What does it mean for Twilight Imperium to be focused in an episode of this show?
Well, I mean, I went to look up some commentary on this, and the creator basically said, "I need a complicated board game." So I googled complicated board games, and in the top five, you know, Twilight Imperium was always number one.
Of course,
Go figure.
of
And
course.
I've got to say, playing Twilight Imperium has made me a lot less fearful of the other four.
What are the other four? Do you know what they are?
What was that one game that was like you're a microbe floating through a petri dish?
Oh, I don't know that one.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah.
This is going to surprise you. I have other friends that play board games. Anyway,
Shocking.
the question we're looking for here, I think, is do they treat this authentically? Because when you hear
Yeah.
I googled complicated board games for a gag in a sitcom,
Yeah.
it kind of gives you pause, makes you wonder, is this really going to be worth my time?
Right. Here's what's going to happen here in the next few minutes. I am going to tell you a lot of things that they did wrong. But before I dive into that, we're gonna do not quite a compliment sandwich. I'm just gonna tell you the compliments first, and then we're gonna get into the bad stuff. I'm actually a little bit impressed that they didn't just throw it in there as like table dressing and just kind of ignore it. They actually used names and references. They even got into some of the lore slightly, like, and they kind of treated it with some respect. Like they did some research for a sitcom like this. That I don't know if this one does it. This one does not have a laugh track or anything like that. But it's like
I know that's a big thing for you.
for
No
me it
laugh
is.
tracks.
This is like barely a step away from those type of sitcoms for me. Like there's a lot of things I didn't like about the show overall, but I do give them some props for treating Twilight Imperium with some respect. Because I think, well, obviously I'm that guy. I think it deserves some respect. What good did you see in the episode?
I mean, from the beginning, they're talking about, oh, what kind of race do you play? I play the Hakan. You look like you're a ghosts guy.
Right.
I mean, they're obviously like name dropping some of these races. They also said space bunnies. Who help me out? Who is space bunnies?
There are no space bunnies. That was one of the things I noticed that was kind of bad about it. But I think they just wanted that joke in there, even though it wasn't a great joke.
Now, if they had gone for space turtles, we would have all gotten that.
Right. I think the idea is that rabbits are cuter than turtles or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they did treat it with some respect. All right, I'm gonna pile on the negative stuff. Actually, I'm sorry. I made notes. I made notes here. There was another good thing I said in here. There were some of the quotes from the main character. I forget his name, but
The main character's name is Jack.
he said the word. He said that the game is challenging and rewarding, or yet rewarding. I think I've said those words before about Twilight Imperium. So they not only did their research about the game itself, but the people that play it.
That's the kind of thing that you say when you want to get a child to try a new food.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and
This cheese is challenging, but it's also very rewarding.
it doesn't work as well with a board game. Trust me, I've tried. Maybe if I say it a lot, like it took me a lot of years to get Zach to play it, and because he played third edition once, said he hated it and would never play again, and somehow he is now here with us playing TI4. And then it took me a while to get you to play it as well.
And obviously, I went in really hard with it.
I'm glad you did. Very 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 rarely do I say, why did I get Jason into this? Now let's see. Let me make sure that was all the positive. I wanted to get all that out of the way first because I'm going to have fun with the negative here. Oh, phones in the basket. That's a rule I think we should have. I want to adopt that one.
Whoa. You don't take away my phone and my iPad.
No,
That's essential
that's though the
tools for
iPad.
me.
Yeah, the iPad is actually important to the game. We'll explain a little bit about that in a little bit. Okay, so all that stuff. That's all the positive I had. Let's start at the top. Focus on activating your space cannon was one of the first lines in reference to the game. That doesn't
Hmm.
make any sense.
Right. That didn't make any sense, and that was the first thing I thought. And what the phrase that you usually look for in Twilight Imperium is I activate Mechatol Rex.
Yeah.
And not at not one point did they mention Mechatol Rex here.
No, that's a key thing that they very easily. No, they did. Well, they didn't say the word Mechatol Rex. I think they talked about
They talked about the
the
custodians.
custodians, which is adjacent to Mechatol Rex as far as they almost said it basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
But and also another problem I had with it, they said it was the Galactical Council.
Right,
That
right, right, right.
that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, that phrasing is a little weird. My next thing I got here is how the hell are they playing Twilight Imperium on that table?
Exactly. There's
That's
that, and there's also how do you play Twilight Imperium with two players? I know you have.
no, I have not.
What was it you said you like played mega factions? Did you do that with three people?
We did that with three people. We had three different people. It was me, Marlon, and Terry, and we played two factions per person, which is insane. I don't recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Although
So
I
it's
do,
technically possible.
yeah, yeah. Oh, to play with two people. Yeah, if they're playing two races apiece, but then it's kind of weird. I don't know. I would not recommend doing that. I played the only other board game I've played with two people that I felt like I played. What comes to mind is I played Ticket to Ride, which I know gets shit on a lot by serious board gamers, but it's not a bad game. It's fine.
No, it's not. I
Um,
like it.
yeah, I played it for the first time with two people. It was me and Marlon. He was just over at my apartment one time, and we were just like, "Hey, let's. I got this new game. Let's play it." That's it's not the best with two people. Like most board games, I think need to play. Not there's some that are designed for two people, and if they're not,
Hmm.
you should probably play with three or more. This game in particular, I can't imagine just playing with two people. Like all the voting stuff would be a mess.
You'd have to pare down the game a lot. You'd probably have to do like you probably have to make it just like a straight military slugfest.
Yeah, yep. Play with
I
a
could see it happening
very
that
small
way.
board. Okay, enough about that. But yeah, that I got that flag too. And in fact, I actually looked up the rule just to make sure, because
Hmm.
I could have sworn even last session that we played that someone brought up you can only play with the minimum of three. Um,
Minimum is three. Everything I saw.
yeah.
I do want to point out one thing here, and I'm sharing some shots from the show as we go through here. Um, it does look like this is not the first time they've opened this box. To their credit,
Yes,
at least to the crew's credit here.
they punched. Yeah, they punched out all the stuff, which is good.
Hmm.
Um,
But I have a further commentary on that in another shot or two.
okay. My next thing was they started playing in the evening, which means they probably didn't stop playing until 2 a.m. And I know that they have school the next day because
Hmm.
that's what the story's about. That's his profession. He's a teacher, so not likely.
Hmm. This is not a game night sort of game. This is a game
All day.
day, all day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. Um, let's see what else. Oh, the beer spill on the board.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get
Okay,
to that.
we'll get to that a little bit later. Um, I also have here. I say that this show is fucking terrible. I really didn't like it. Um,
Well,
but that's just me. That's an opinion that I have about this particular show. This is the first impression I had of this. I'm curious about the first season because when it first came out, I know a lot of people told me that they liked it. So I'm wondering if this is just a show that's just gotten a little bit worse over time. Um, but to its credit, the most annoying scenes to me were actually scenes not involved that did not involve the main character. They're the sides, the A and B stories.
mhm.
That whole thing with Patton Oswald was just awkward to me. But
I mean, I like Patton Oswalt as a actor. I just didn't think he fit very well here.
yeah,
I think he
absolutely.
works. I
Yeah,
think he works well in little bit parts like in Parks and Rec.
or Reno 911.
Uh-huh. But I don't think he needs to be a main character.
Yeah, unless he's
And
unless he's
I
voice
don't mean
acting.
to. I
Unless
like
he,
his voice acting.
yeah, he does make,
I
yeah.
don't mean to insult the man.
No, he's
I
great.
like him. I like him when he shows up.
Yeah,
It's
I agree. I follow him on Twitter. I love him. He's great. He's a great comedian.
mhm.
Great guy. I'm just saying in this particular role, I it didn't see. You know, that's rude. Did you hear my dog sneezing?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Moving on. What we got next?
All right, so we could really talk really quickly about the overview of the episode.
Yeah,
Basically,
go for it.
Marcus is the student, and he has this racket with his parents. They pay for his tutoring, and then he splits the money with his teacher, and they both benefit from it. He says, you don't have any actual guy friends, so let's make a bet. And he says, you need to get together a bunch of guy friends and have a game night. And that's these three guys that he's pulled in.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to try to have a four-player game of Twilight Imperium, which is going to run at least. They're completely new, and they're not big on.
Let's be
complex
honest.
board games.
Let's be honest. They're probably not going to finish. Even if it got
Yeah,
past,
they're not going to finish.
I'm not even talking about in the episode. Obviously, in the episode, they don't play the whole game. But even if they got them to convince them to play, they're probably not going to finish.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously, the first thing he does is he sends them an email that says, "Here's how you play Twilight Imperium," and no one reads it.
Yes.
Very authentic.
This is, yeah, it's very authentic. I remember the first time I was introducing someone new to the game outside the core group. He did this on his own, but still, it was necessary. He still didn't quite get it 100% when we played. Is he just went and just watched all the YouTube videos? Like, there's this guy who had a YouTube video series about how to play, and this is third edition, so I think it absolutely needed it.
Mm-hmm. It's hard initially to understand all the possibilities that you can perform at a time.
Absolutely.
I'm actually thinking about writing up my own, but I think everyone has that impulse at one time or another.
To do what?
Everyone
Your
who
own
plays at least.
your own rules?
No, my own explanation of how to play this game.
Sure. Absolutely.
My own like flow charts and stuff. Distinctly the way I would do it.
Right.
All right. So obviously no one read the rules.
Right.
Now, here's something I want you to see in this shot. Look at the box. What do you see?
Wait. Well, it's not closed.
It's not closed all the way.
Right.
See, I'm guessing that the crew tried to put all the pieces back in the box and they just kind of gave up.
That's a good theory. I like that.
And
Well, I was going to
that's
say
pretty much confirming it right there.
right, exactly. They just raised it up. I was going to say the other thing that I noticed is there's no coasters, and that's an issue.
No. They might have averted disaster.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm assuming it's the next shot. Oh, you got a couple clips here.
No, not quite. This is where they start putting phones in the basket.
Right,
And-
phone at the basket. They're eating their
and
snacks. He convinced
yeah.
them, part of the deal was that he provided their favorite snacks.
Mm-hmm. Homemade shumai.
Mm-hmm.
That
I forget
sounds
this
really
guy's
good.
name. Eating with the chopsticks.
Yeah, I had to look up these characters' names.
He's a great
Hans.
he's a great stand-up comedian.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. He's hilarious.
Okay, he's Hans. The other guy handing in his phone is Dale, and I'm going to call the other guy Coach because that's what he calls him.
Mm-hmm.
What the interesting thing here is Hans says, I'm a grown-ass man. You ain't getting my phone. Next.
Yep.
And if you ask me to give you my phone,
Yeah. Probably
that's
the same
what
thing.
I'm going to say.
Fair. I'll
So
try
the
it.
rest of them said, yeah, and the rest of them said no. So he's like, I'm going to take my phone back.
Right.
There was this really nice, awkward situation there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see he's starting to lay out the tiles there. He's not going to let them draft their own galaxy.
Right.
No.
the rules kind of spell out that that's kind of an advanced maneuver. That's an advanced rule, which I understand. You do need to understand the impact of what your tiles, which you guys will see if you watch one of our upcoming videos, because we record our game sessions. We'll get into more of that later, but yeah, the galaxy setting at the beginning is very important. We'll just say that.
Right. So he starts trying to explain the rules, and that's where kind of disaster strikes. He tries to set the scene and say,
Blah!
the custodians say anyone can take the throne if they just bring us 10 victory points. And during this time, Coach has been showing cat pictures on his phone. He's the cat guy, evidently. His phone meows again, which means he got another message. And here, Jack's been trying to explain the rules, so he gets frustrated. He reaches for the phone and knocks over the beer all over the tiles. No! It's spreading, it's spreading. Get me towels, get me towels. Where are your towels?
Yep.
Yeah, and he just gets frustrated because Dale is kind of just sauntering over and not acting with any urgency.
Yeah, and this
in the situation.
I think you would. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what bugged you the most, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I actually, I think I told you this off camera. I don't think I recorded this, but this exact thing happened to me the first time we played Twilight Imperium 4th edition. The woman that was my girlfriend at the time and is now my wife, she spilled beer on some of the tiles. It was actually while I think we were setting up the board, and you've never seen me move so fast. And you've played with our set. Did you notice any damage to the tiles?
No,
we cleaned it up rather fast. Yeah, we saved it.
It makes me wonder, little plastic containers you can put the tiles in, but it's just going to make the board that much bigger.
Oh yeah. Maybe just spray them with
Everyone
a
has
laminate.
Ways of doing that. So he gets frustrated. He starts yelling at everyone. You're all stupid. I hate your cats.
Yeah.
And the thing that really got me was Hans making fun of the game there at the end, saying, "We're not going to fight over the planet Poo Poo currently occupied by the PP."
Yeah.
And that just exemplified for me why this show doesn't have a laugh track.
Yeah.
That shit's not funny.
No, not really.
It's one of those shows where a lot of funny things happen. It's not really funny things. It's things that you associate with.
Right.
And this is you associating with people who are dismissive.
Absolutely.
Or dismissive of the way your life works.
I actually wrote down, I hate them and their kittens too. That was a note that I made because that's how I was feeling. I was like, "This, I relate to this so hard." Trying to get people to play my complicated board game, and they don't appreciate. They refuse to appreciate it. Well, you can imagine a lot of conversations that and scenarios that I've had with Zach, someone who seems to take life in general a lot less seriously than I do.
No, I understand.
You can imagine the frustrations. But absolutely, yeah. So this is very, very relatable, which is, I guess, is another positive that it's not just that they showed the game respect, but they showed kind of the lifestyle, the board game lifestyle respect.
A little bit. Like that's one way to look at it. If you take the initial parts where, I forget his name, the student comes over and says,
Marcus?
"Oh, you're into Twilight Imperium?" And he goes off on saying, "Yes, I like games that are intellectually stimulating." And he says it, and you can practically see up his nose as he sticks it up there. And they're kind of implying that all board gamers, or at least all people who play and enjoy Twilight Imperium, are misanthropes.
I think there's some honesty and truth to that to some degree, because
I mean, if you look at our group, some of us can be a little misanthropic, and I think that's kind of why we stick together.
Yeah, The
it's our brand of crazy.
it's when I tell people about this game, or they ask me if I tell them I'm playing this game, they're like, "Oh, what's that?" Yeah, I have like a brief conversation with myself every time before explaining it. That like this game does not playing this game does not make me better. Like just because it's complicated, that doesn't make it better. Like let's just so sometimes I'll just tell them like the very fastest elevator pitch, and if they're curious after that and they want to know more, then I'll expand. But you don't want to have it's hard. Sometimes you gotta go just talk yourself out of being a little arrogant when you talk about it, because just because you play this game doesn't mean you're a better class of board gamer. Because the point of board games is that they're fun. People have fun in different ways. Some of us have fun by torturing ourselves for 8 hours. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
There's that aspect of it.
Watching them try to treat this game and try to explain it to the audience at the same time just makes me realize this game is not made for new players.
No,
like at all.
No.
They barely scratched the surface. The only time we saw any miniatures was in the beginning where he's shaking them out on the table, and we don't see them again.
Yeah,
we don't see the technologies.
I think that's
we don't see the agendas. We don't see all of these elements of the game because it's not just these guys are too, again, vanilla to get into this. It's that they haven't seen it before. And honestly, even a normal person coming into this game for the first time may have to do that first 8-hour game and not understand what they're doing.
Yeah, with Twilight Imperium, you really have
until
to be
things stick.
You really have to be somewhat curious already. Forcing some people to like it just doesn't work. You're just going to turn them off to the game. If you're patient, like we said earlier, like you and Zach, like if you're patient with it and you don't push it on people, they may get curious themselves, and then you can start, just shoveling all the lore and knowledge and crap onto them. Because then they'll actually start.
I was so happy there was a wiki for this.
Yeah, is that where you started a lot of your knowledge gathering?
Well, it was obviously a whole lot of cut and paste. Because I've said this on the sub too. I dumped pretty much the entire game into spreadsheets.
Right. Okay,
I am the misanthrope, like spreadsheet master.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's get to the end of the episode here. Let's cap off the episode, and then we can start talking about our particular project.
So he kind of just blows up and buries his head in the pillows until the guys like say, come on down. Let's play poker. Let's play something simple. Your game was too complex, and I just wanted him to roll over and tell him, no, it's not too complex. You guys are too simple, but he doesn't do that.
Right. Now, one thing that I almost wrote down was this scene in particular. I almost wrote down they don't even know how to play poker right, because there's pizza right in the middle of the table, but I don't know what version of poker they're playing. They're playing Texas Hold'em. That's definitely not where you want that pizza.
Is that Texas Hold'em?
No,
I can't tell.
I don't think so. It might be. I think
they're probably just playing 5-card.
Yeah, it's just a bad setup either way. And I've never seen anybody play poker with actual dollar bills.
Yeah, me neither.
Unless that's just supposed to be the pot that they're supposed to win at the end.
That's what you do in a pinch, I suppose.
Yeah, and they didn't plan this, so maybe that's what it was. But anyway, yeah. So the episode ends. Excuse me. The teacher goes back to the classroom where they were debating, and they were giving him shit about not having any male friends. He shows them proof on his phone because they took a picture of their game night. I can't remember exactly what the conclusion was, like, because the
conclusion was he satisfied the bet, but he doesn't collect, which is it's fine. He says he has a standing game night with these guys.
Right.
They're probably not playing Twilight Imperium. They're probably going to ease into something else.
Yeah, that's not.
Who knows? Maybe these guys will give it a try, and we'll be coming back later to do another episode.
Man, if Twilight Imperium makes another appearance on this show, that's a lot of respect for them for doing that. But I doubt it. I think
Probably
that's
not.
probably the
Not
last
not
time.
not with the way they came into this.
No.
Just googling this and using this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they picked a good game. They actually read up on the lore. They tried to treat it. They said names of planets.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job of scratching the surface as much as he scratches the surface with them.
Yeah. I give him a thumbs up. It
Mm-hmm.
was as far as a sitcom could do this particular storyline. It's not, they didn't do the easy thing and did something like Cones of Dunshire where they just make up a game, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
Although that probably would have been more work for them. So
Right.
either way, now that would have been a thing if they actually had called back to a separate sitcom and actually pulled out Cones of Dunshire. That would have been really interesting, but probably would have been too distracting for the episode.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, why pull out Cones of Dunshire when you can pull out the real one that it's pretty much based on?
Yeah. Yeah, your wife likes to remind me of that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's the episode. Overall, not a bad watch if you want to see how they handled it. Because like we said, they handled it pretty well. The show itself, if you like sitcoms, I don't know if you like what would you call this, like Friends
It kind of has no meets what?
I had 3 shows in my mind. Like I think
Pick a
Friends.
show where people are brought low, because that's the Jack character. He kind of
I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's school related, but I got some Community vibes a little bit, just a little, and then
Okay.
it's hard for me not to think of Always Sunny because the main character is from that show, but completely different vibe. This is much more PG than that show is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Even the way he delivers his lines, it reminds me of Joe McHale from Community. Yeah, I think he's a similar type of main character. Anyway, that's my thought.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. Now let's talk about what we're doing. We've teased it this whole time. We are. Oh my god, I don't even know where to start with this because it's multiple projects in one. Where would you start?
Well, we can kind of start with the idea that birthed all of this.
Hold on.
And
Hold on.
mm-hmm.
I just realized in that screenshot you still have up, they have a landline that has a cord on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and there's also the tube TV there.
What the hell is happening? What year is this?
I couldn't. Again, I haven't watched this show.
Okay.
I've been trying to figure
I'm
out.
sorry. I
lots of,
completely
religious memorabilia
yeah,
around
yeah.
the house.
I completely distracted you. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, the one thing I take from this screenshot is this is the face of a Twilight Imperium player wishing he was playing Twilight Imperium.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
He's in another
So-
place. Go ahead.
So our videos kind of started from this one idea of what if we were to ban a faction through gameplay. At least for me, that's the thought that kind of started this.
Yeah, we decided to talk about. I don't remember why, but that led into one thing to another, and the next thing you know, we're in a Google Meet meeting online, Zoom meeting or whatever, talking about rules, and then more talk about rules created more rules, and then all of a sudden we're talking about a season of Twilight Imperium games, like it's a baseball season, and creating a basically what do you call that, campaign type board game.
Yeah.
Legacy.
some of
Legacy
them
was the word I
a
was looking
legacy
for.
game,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're creating rules where one instance, one session of a game will actually influence the ones that come after. We are going to publish these rules. They're actually we made them available, I believe, on the Reddit, if I'm not mistaken.
We did like a short write up, but I'm gonna put together an official
Yep.
write up with
They'll be
goal
fleshed.
numbers
They'll
and
be
whatnot.
fleshed out. Yeah, and we're gonna. I think we'll be able to. My plan long term is to publish a website that chronicles the season, and we'll have all the stats because we are record keeping. We actually are keeping a lot of stats, information. There are a lot of physical elements. One that I'm really excited about is you've been talking about this for a while. You got a gavel that will
Hold
be,
on.
yeah. He can go grab it real quick. Um, this is the gavel. Oh, wait for his headphones to get back in. Okay.
There we go.
All right. So here's the gavel. Now what we're doing with this is that we're actually going to,
Speaker.
yeah. You keep saying you're
I'm
going to take
actually
that off. You still haven't taken it off.
no. I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna reprint the label with a clear,
Okay, that's better.
so it looks a lot better. So, but no,
Yeah.
this is coming. This is coming off. This is coming off. You will come
So
off
now, what I like about this, so we've
later.
there are some other physical things we talk about, like when you win a game, you get like a literal silver star, and stuff like that. We haven't continued doing that, but
No. I think we came up. I came up with a new
yeah,
idea.
this is a better thing. So this is actually
Oh,
really.
spoiler alert.
Oh! Did you already do it?
Yeah, there's a color on there.
Okay, so this
And
is
if you don't want to be spoiled on who won the first
it's just
round, then don't rewind.
that's true. Oh, okay. So I do want to see it though. I don't think I don't think the spoiler is a huge deal. Go ahead and I would show it. Can I show it? Can I see it?
There.
Oh, you got it.
Ta-da!
Okay.
He goes bang bang.
So what he's doing, what he's trying to cover up there is on the handle where he's putting a stripe all the way around the gavel handle of the color of the person who won. Now the reason the color is important is because we keep our colors for the whole season. So whoever won that first game, that color is on there. How are you doing it? Are you painting it?
Yeah, I'm just using an acrylic paint, and originally you suggested I sand it off first. I don't really like the way that looked, so I'm probably not going to do that next time.
Oh, the sanding.
Yeah,
Okay.
it made the shape of the wood a little irregular, but
Yeah, we can
it's
talk about
fine.
that. We can
I have
talk.
some.
I was gonna say we
I
can.
mask it and then I use some primer on it. It'll be
Yeah, I
fine.
was gonna say we talk about that later. But one of the things you could do is just sand the whole handle, and then you don't have to worry about the misshapenness. You can actually control. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. The point is, and try it with the paint. With that, I don't know what kind of sealer is on that gavel. That's why I said to sand it because it may not stick very well. That's why
I
you
mean,
don't.
I could just abrase it a little bit so it doesn't change the shape.
Yeah. There you go. But anyway, so then at the end of the season, as a trophy, the winner will actually get the gavel, and so they will actually be able to keep that. So we have 6 players total, I believe, that are playing in the season.
That's right.
We do have where there's rules about if you can't make a game because as adults and if you're a gamer of any kind that likes to do things in person with people, it's just scheduling is a nightmare. It's part of the reasons that D&D are so hard. It's so hard to play D&D these days. But anyway, I got a story about that I'll tell later about D&D and scheduling. And anyway, so that's one thing we're doing as far as the season goes. We actually the coolest thing I think about all the rules is what we did is we actually drafted all 6 of us. We actually drafted the factions, the actual races that we're going to be playing in the game. And the way that works is we each get 3, and we took turns. It was a random, and then we did just like when you set the tiles on Twilight Imperium when you're setting the board. We did the serpentine where you go the first person randomly goes, and then you go down the order, and then you go back the reverse order. So you're going back
Right.
and forth.
And to be clear, we didn't randomly take the factions. We just chose the factions that we wanted.
Right. We literally drafted them. And what's cool about that is that there's some randomness still to the game in choosing what faction you're going to have. Everyone got to choose their first one. But the way it's going to go with the next game is the winner of the first game or the previous game, depending on what game we're talking about, gets to choose and actually has access to the faction he played with last time. Everyone else doesn't. Everyone who lost does not have access to the faction they played. So it's almost like a summoning sickness and magic if you're familiar with that
Yeah,
game.
and this kind of begins to talk about some of the lore components, because the intention was if you made a grab for the throne and you failed, then your faction experiences a bit of a
A
recession,
setback, yeah.
a setback. So then they're out for the next round while their society recovers.
Exactly. And what happens is when you play that next game, of the ones you have left, those are your current faction. When you're going to play with the next game is actually randomized, so it's like a coin flip for those that just have two. One of the cooler things that we're going to do, I'm really curious if it's actually going to get played out at any point and tried, is eliminating a faction. If you actually eliminate a faction, that faction then becomes available to you.
Right. So yeah, if you do a full elimination, and to be fair, under the living reference rules, it's very hard to eliminate someone. You have to take all of their planets, all of their units with production.
And the way we have it phrased in our rules is whoever is occupying the home system of the faction eliminated, that's who gets it. That's who's the
Right.
eliminating player. And I think that's a good way to do it, because that kind of it fits into more lore narrative stuff too, because that makes sense that you're eliminating an entire culture and you're on their home system. So you can actually take those factions. Another cool thing is that you can actually trade factions. We actually are allowing you to do almost like promissory notes. Like you can actually make transactions and trades with your factions. I'm curious if anyone's going to exercise that one too, because there's some juicy ones out there. We have a weird problem, I think, in our group. I'm not going to say. I'm not even going to say which one it is, but there's a particular faction that is running amok and winning a lot of games. I think three different players have won with the same faction, and it's not one I would think. It's not even. We actually eliminated. We took out of the running when the group before Jason got or Edge got involved. In third edition, we actually took out the Universities of Jol-Nar and the Embers of Muat. I just always call them the Embers. We took them out. Like you couldn't play them. We just didn't allow it, and we actually rolled that over into fourth. And that's
Which makes no sense to me.
which is fine. It's just
No, it's not.
it's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine, which is why we reversed the rule. Every faction is available in this. So anyway, it's been competitive. We've only played the one game so far.
I think it's also worth noting that our scoring system carries over from game to game as well. We're not, scoring 1 point for winning the game, and whoever has the most wins.
Explain how you actually win the season.
So you actually win the season by getting the most victory points over the season.
Yeah, so it kind of works like
I was going to say that changes the dynamics of the game considerably. And if you watch our first game, you'll see how that plays out, and we'll talk about that.
Oh yeah. Alliances work an interesting role. They fill an interesting role because sometimes it's not about winning; it's just about winning enough. You don't want to fall too far behind. Which one player did fall surprisingly behind. Someone who usually plays the game pretty well. So, but we had, like I kind of inferred before, we had some tiles that caused some problems in this setup. There's some people who got screwed. Okay, what else? There's so much going on with our Twilight Imperium stuff. We haven't mentioned at all the actual videos and how we're constructing those. There's going to be huge, heavy narrative elements. Zach Nanimus is actually he kind of is our narrative czar, and he's writing a lot of backstory. He's actually sitting there taking notes while we're playing the whole time about different events and explaining like story wise why the events happened. He's creating backstories for everything. We actually have we created our own Uber factions that kind of explain why the three factions we have, each player has, are allied together. That was a lot of fun coming up with that stuff. We're trying to make this as lore heavy as we can, make it interesting, dramatic. The what you have to look forward to actually coming up pretty soon. The first thing we're going to put out is going to be an episode 0 that kind of explains story wise why this season stuff is happening, like why multiple games are being having to be played, in story. I don't want to spoil any of that, but it's going to be really cool. Zach is having a lot of fun. Just his imagination's running wild and coming up with some good reasons why things are happening in game. So that's what you had to look forward to is episode 0. Keep an eye out for that. Hopefully we're going to try to turn this stuff out as fast as possible, but what the footage we're using for these games a lot is time lapse. I'm recording the entire play sessions, and then we're time lapsing it so we can shrink it down. We don't want the episodes to be super long. We want it to be digestible amounts of stuff. So our target, I think, is going to be closer to half an hour for watch time, because it's hard to get it less than that. I've tried with this stuff before, but anyway, you have that to look forward to. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Is there anything else you want to say, Jason, before we get out of here?
No, that really covers things.
Okay.
We're doing other things like pre-drafting our factions over Discord, so everyone can put together their strategy ahead of time, and then when we get to the table, we just put down tiles and execute.
And if we can swing it and find a way to do it, I would love to do a live show where we draft every time. But that's going to be more scheduling with everybody, which is going to be hard to do. We might do a brief meeting, maybe like just 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I think that'd be great. That's just an idea I just had, so hopefully that works out. But if not, oh well. But follow all of our stuff. So the videos will be released. If you're watching them here, you know where we're at Warlocks Entertainment System. We do have a Twitter, and I'll start be using that more to maybe at the very least we can tweet out our draft stuff, what factions we're playing, and stuff like that. So anyway, stay tuned. That's all we got for now. The videos are gonna be fun, full of crap, challenging but rewarding.
Yes.
All right. So I guess we'll say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Oh, God. Where's the button?
Push the button, Johnny.